So my name is Elizabeth Schieferdecker, very long last name. I live in Tacoma, Washington, and I am a police detective.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I've got a list of questions here.
Okay.
Okay, what started you running?
So I started races about 17 years ago. My husband at the time was doing full marathons, and I thought, I can give it a try. So I started halves and then started to do a few fulls. And then I had my kids, and things tapered off. And then once my kids got a little bit older, I picked it back up.
Okay, good. So what keeps you going now?
So this year especially, my youngest graduated high school and went off to college, so I'm an empty nester this year. And so I was trying to come up with some epic thing to do when they were off to college. And so I stumbled across Mainly Marathons about 17 months ago, so I'm still fairly new. But I think today was my 38th race and 35th state with Mainly Marathons. So as soon as I found them, my goals all changed, and I decided this would be a really cool thing to do for my empty nester year, is to do all 50 states plus Washington D.C. In 51 weeks. So the week after my youngest graduated high school, I started with Alaska, and I will be done with my states on June 10th with Mainly in Maine.
Okay, that'd be awesome. I'll be there.
All right, I'm excited.
Yeah, I didn't have any idea. That's a cool story. Empty nester.
Yeah.
I did my thing when I was 49. I was like, for my 50th birthday, I'm going to do this. So we got to have a goal.
Yes, well, and I had lots of goals for my 50th birthday, but that was the year of COVID. So,
yeah, so
I had to change some things around for sure.
Okay, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned mainly changed your life. I hear that from everybody.
I'm sure.
So what was going on before all this?
Well, I had what I call now mediocre goals. I thought, I want to do 9 states in a year, maybe half a dozen half marathons a year. And then I met Mainly, and I had never been in a running group or considered it a social thing. It was just something that I like to do for myself. And as soon as my very first Mainly race was the Southwest Series in New Mexico, fall of 2021, and I showed up, and all of these people, it was like a family reunion, and I thought, I'm not at a race, this is a family reunion, what is going on? And I raised my hand that it was my first Mainly race, and I was just swarmed with people that were welcoming me and encouraging me, and you start hearing these amazing stories of, the people out here are legends, literally legends. And I was just in awe, but it's really the people. I have met the most amazing people, lifelong friends, that I've only known, 17 months now, or 15 months, but just amazing, amazing people. So then you start hearing these stories and thinking, okay, well, 9 states in a year really isn't that big of a goal. What can my body do? What can I really accomplish? And a lot of these goals, obviously, you can't accomplish without Mainly Marathons and being able to do 11 races in 11 states in 11 days. But I think, I love learning about myself, what I can physically push myself to do, but the relationships, that's 50% of it, for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Very similar story with a lot of us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'd never done a triple, and you meet these people, and it's like, it's normal.
Yeah, exactly. Jason today, oh my gosh, today was day 9 of 11, doing sub 4 hour marathons day after day after day.
Gosh.
I'm just in awe. Yeah.
So what makes Mainly stand out in your mind? I think you just touched on that, but
for sure the people and the snacks.
Yeah.
But the people.
A lot of runners, they don't like the laps, but for us, it's a wholly different thing. Describe that for us, what that's like.
I thought I was going to hate the laps. When I first read about Mainly, I had stumbled across it. I'd canceled another race but I really wanted to do one that weekend, and I was picking a state that I didn't have, and so I was reading. I was like, "Oh, you do laps? That sounds terrible." Because who likes to do laps? No one. And but then you realize you're seeing the same people. The encouragement that you get with each lap, you get to know people, you get to hear people's stories, you get to have these conversations, whether it's 100 yards or a mile that you spend with someone, getting to know the people. And then, especially like this week as the days go by. Yesterday I was just having a really rough day. It was day 8 and it was just a rough day. And the people that you're passing over and over and over, they recognize that. And I had the encouragement yesterday was huge, and it got me through that little hump. There was a couple other people that were having hard times. There was a couple people today having a hard time. And so just getting to know those people as you're passing them over and over and over, it makes it go by significantly faster, which is unusual because you'd think it would just drag on, but it really doesn't. It's that interaction over and over that really makes the races go by quickly.
Yeah, excellent. I feel the same way out there.
Yep.
You're having a bad day, and people just they do recognize that real fast.
Yeah.
And then when you're having a good day, they recognize that too.
Yes, they do. Yeah, and then you use that energy to encourage other people.
Yeah. Like I hear them say, "Wow, you're doing so good today."
Yeah.
And what makes us go from day 8 to day 9, and all of a sudden we're better? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I've done a lot of these 7-day series, and day 4 seems like you're trying to get over that hump, and it's just so hard. And it's like then I guess your body gets used to it. It's like, oh, we're doing this. Okay.
Yeah. And I've always had an off day every series, whether it's been a 4-day series or a 7-day series, and this is 11-day. I've always had one off day. Yesterday was it, and then you just bounce back, and your body's like, okay, here we go.
She's got one here. What are some of the secrets you've learned about becoming a successful runner? And like, what successful tips do you have for people doing a series?
So for me, and I think the mistake I made a couple of days ago is I wasn't hungry, and so I didn't eat, and because I wasn't hungry. But I really paid for it the next day. So getting in that routine of knowing what your body needs to fuel yourself for the next day, and the next day, I ice, I stretch, I make sure I get enough sleep at night. I get in this routine that I think makes it successful. But if you get out of your routine, like skipping a day of like, well, I'm not really hungry, then you pay for it. So I think for me especially, it's that routine every day, doing the exact same thing every day, eating the same thing, knowing what my body needs to pick up and go the next day again.
Yep, that's important. We're going from cold days, rainy days to hot days, and it's like your body is just like doesn't know what to do.
Oh yeah, the weather just in this series alone, from bundling up days 1 and 2 to wearing tank tops and shorts, the next few days, and now bundling up again. You really have to listen to your body.
Water. I know I'm not getting enough water. A lot of these guys out here suffering. It's like our body's just it's just breaking down. And trying to get to bed by 8 o'clock.
Yep, 8 o'clock. That's the goal. That is the goal.
Okay, well, you've already explained your goals for this year. That's what are your ultimate goals in achieving?
It's funny. Daniel jokes about selling your house and buying a motorhome and touring the country with mainly marathons. Honestly, I think that's kind of where I'm going. I'm going to retire in probably 2 years, and I have, I've thought about, well, what do I want to do in retirement? I think this is it. This is, selling my house, buying something smaller that I can shut the door and go, and touring around. And I don't know how many years it'll last. I mean, I look at some of these people that have been doing mainlies since the beginning, and I love it that much. These are my people. And I thought that the first 100 yards in on my very first race, I thought, these are my people. And that it really is. And so I think my goals are to continue to do the majority of the mainlies as long as my body holds up, as long as, whatever vehicle I drive holds up, my income holds up, but that's how much I love it. I suppose once I have grandkids down the road, that might change. But while I have this flexibility in my life, this is it for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I hadn't even got to meet you yet, but we're identical.
Yes, exactly. And I think there's probably a lot of us out here. Yeah.
Would you describe this lifestyle as extreme?
People say it is. I don't feel like it is. When I tell people what I'm doing, and they're like, well, where are you off to now? I'm like, oh, I'm doing another 11 states in 11 days. And they're like, that is crazy. That's extreme. Who does stuff like that? But I'm like, but let me tell you about Betty, or let me tell you about Jim. So
Yeah.
I would not describe my lifestyle as extreme 2 years ago. If you would have told me what I was doing 2 years from now, I would have said, that's crazy. That's extreme. That would never happen. But once you're in it, it does not seem extreme. And if anytime anybody asks me or tells me that it's extreme, I'm like, oh, but let me tell you about Betty, or let me tell you about Jim. Let me tell you about all of these accomplishments that other people have made and the numbers that they're doing every year. So I suppose other people would think it was extreme. Once you're in it, it feels very normal.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. I think we hit all these questions, but normally Claudine's going to be doing the interviews.
Oh, okay.
And she just goes on and on and on. I'm new to this. She's got a book that teaches you how to do interviews. And,
Oh.
She's like, don't do all the interviews. I'm like, well, okay, I'm doing okay. I mean,
Yeah.
She sent me a list. But
Yeah.
if there's anything else you want to add, I mean, this is all just wonderful stuff.
Yeah, and I'm sure you hear the same thing over and over. It's the people, it's the wonderful, Daniel and Jesse do such an amazing job. They're just such good guys. And, anytime we've had any questions or anything, they're on top of things. Somebody had posted something, they were a little nervous about a course. I'm like, these are two race directors that you can rely on 100%, no matter what. And I think one of the things I love is that they celebrate everybody and everybody's accomplishments. And I remember my very first mainly, and they make a big deal about that. They make a big deal about your first marathon or your first half marathon, and 25 and 50 and 100 and 50 states with them. And I just reached Half Fanatic Sun a couple of days ago, and they actually buy medals to acknowledge another running club's accomplishments. And when Tedford hit titanium a couple of days ago, they celebrate those things that before I would have considered maybe just a personal goal, and you don't expect any recognition. It's just a personal goal. But the fact that they go above and beyond to recognize everybody's accomplishments, that's just huge. They are such great guys.
I totally agree.
Yeah, my life
You
is
definitely
so
don't
much
expect
better.
to get recognized for Sun.
Yeah.
And it's like, because it has nothing to do with Mainly.
No, it
but
has
so
nothing
many
to do
people,
with
once we learn that, we try to hit those milestones at a Mainly race.
Yeah, and that's it. Every milestone that I am coming across now, I've specifically set the goal to meet it at a Mainly race, just because, and not that I want the acknowledgement, but just there.
Well, you want to be with your family.
You want to be with your family, and that somebody asked me recently, well, who's going to be there for your 50th state? Well, the Mainly family, because it is my family, and they are truly going to celebrate it with me. So it has definitely become a family. But I really appreciate that, especially about those two, that they make every milestone very special for people.
Very good. As someone that travels alone a lot, and sometimes my sisters will come with me, but they always worry about me being on the road and doing these. I've been gone for 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm with Mainly.
Yeah.
And now that they've gone and done some series with me, they were on a 12-day series, and so they know, and now they don't worry as much.
Right.
If they know I'm going to be with Mainly, it's like, well, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah. And in fact, I brought my mom with me because she had the same concern. She's like, you're out there driving around the country by yourself. And so she came with me to Center of the Nation, and she volunteered, and she got hooked. And so she's coming back for Riverboat. She's going to volunteer for Riverboat. So even as a volunteer, she realized what a great organization this is. So at 79 years old, she's coming along to help.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to meet her.
Yeah.
My sisters do the same thing when they come. They volunteer.
Yeah.
And but Trina's like my oldest sister. It's like, well, I don't really get to talk to Kelly because we volunteer when she's not there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like everybody talks about Kelly, but I mean, they're pretty good friends. They talk a lot through Facebook and all that. But
yeah.
it's like, yeah, when Kelly's there, she's doing it, but when Kelly's not there, then my sisters were doing it.
Oh, good.
And as I was working my way through Legend, they would try to go as often as they could.
Yeah, yeah. And that's my mom for Center of Nations. She had Vivian, Tracy, Kelly, and then my mom, and those four just bonded. They had the best time. So I always get when I show up, they're like, "Where's your mom? She's coming this one. She's coming this one.
Yeah.
Like she's coming the next one. She'll be here."
What's her name?
Barbara.
Okay.
Yeah, so she'll be here.
Hopefully, I've seen her.
Yeah, Center of the Nation last year was her first.
There for about 2 years, I didn't miss a mainly race.
Wow. Yeah.
But then I got real sick after the COVID, and last year I didn't see much because I wasn't doing a lot last year.
Yeah.
And I was over 300 pounds, so
oh my gosh.
I wasn't. The times I did come out, I couldn't run. I was just barely walking, and I do a lap or two, and I just had to stop.
Yeah.
So
wow.
you're seeing a different person now.
Wow, that is an amazing. Hopefully, you're interviewing yourself for this. Oh, you've got to, because that's an amazing.
Later, but,
that's an amazing story.
Yeah, I've got better stories than that.
Yeah.
But we all do.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got an amazing story too that you're going to tell me.
Yeah, it just, a lot of life changes. You learn a lot about yourself during this, and meeting the people that you meet and spending time together. And what you want long term, and it's just, I think just the self discovery probably, especially at this phase in my life, but. I don't think I've been happier. It really, it's just, I've got a good life. I've got a good job. I love my kids, love my family, but this just kind of completed my life.
Right. Oh, I love that you said that. I haven't heard that term self-discovery in any of these interviews. That's a good term for that.
Interesting.
Because since I met mainly in 2017, I can't even recognize myself. I am a totally different person.
Yeah.
Went from doing a couple a year, like you said, to like 25.
Wow. Yeah.
And then it's like you're just setting all those goals, and I want to get that jersey that says 52 marathons in 52 weeks.
Right.
And,
Right.
I mean, you set all these goals that were not even imaginable.
No, then you think if somebody would have told you that there is no way, and then you start thinking, well, I think it's possible. It is possible. I did it. It's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought I would reach Half Fanatic Sun. I mean, you saw that number and thought, like I said, my original goal was 9 states, which I don't remember what level that was on the Half Fanatics list, but about halfway down, and here I am, and I've checked off every single one of except 20 countries in a year. I don't know how to do that one, but
for the camera, since they don't know these clubs and what Sun is, explain to us how you made Sun and what that is.
So Half Fanatics has technically 9 different levels so to qualify for Half Fanatics, and I think it's the same for the Marathon Maniacs, you have to do 2 races within 16 days. And when I did that, I was like, oh, that just seems impossible. But then as you get through each of these levels, and they get harder and harder and harder. Well, Sun is 30 states in a calendar year, or 52 half marathons in a calendar year. And then the flip side for Marathon Maniacs, it's full marathons versus the halves. And so, when I started out, I thought, okay, I can do 9 states in a year. And then you stumble across mainly, and you're like, wow, this is actually possible to do 30 states in a year. Well, it turns out I'm going to be doing 50 states in a year. But yeah, it's the 30 states or 52 half marathons. And on the list, there are Half Fanatics has they're getting close to 19,000 members or 18,000 members. But there's 183 of us that have made Sun. So it's a fairly small number. So that's just something I'm just extremely proud of, that, of all these, because I was not an athlete in high school. I was very clumsy, never liked competitive sports. And, you kind of are raised to think, well, if you're not an athlete or a competitor, then you can't get out and do this stuff. And I think that's what I'm just so proud of, is like, no, you can't put that label on people. It's everybody has their own pace, which I love about mainly. Everybody has their own pace. It's not competitive. If you're having a rough day, you walk and you talk. Today somebody said, hey, I'm just having a rough day. Would you mind walking with me? It's like, of course. So my time was a little extra slow, but I helped that person along for a couple of miles. But I think that so the idea of reaching 30 states in a year or 52 in a year just seemed impossible. But yeah, so that's the half fanatics versus and the marathon maniacs is that 30 a year or 30 states or 52. So
excellent.
yeah.
When I started running with them, I didn't know about all these clubs and all the goals, and nobody does.
Right.
And I was telling somebody, it's like, I'm gonna have like 28 states this year. It's like I can't believe it. I was just trying to do like 25 one year at 49, 25 at 50 to finish my 50 states.
Yeah.
Wasn't as aggressive as you, but I somehow accidentally had 28. And it's like, well, if you just do 3 more, you're gonna be titanium. And I'm like,
right.
I was like, what is that?
Yeah, exactly.
And so then I'm searching for these, I'm frantically trying to find races to get in the next month.
Yeah,
and find these 3 other states to go to.
Yeah.
And do even end up on trail run, which I hate trails, and then climbing these mountains in Kentucky just to get titanium.
Yeah.
And
the
it's
things we do.
a hard, miserable day.
Yeah.
But it's like
they
create these
know
goals.
You had, but then,
I didn't have a goal, but now it's like now I'm titanium in my first year with Mainly.
Yeah, well, and that's huge.
In my second year with Mainly, I kept seeing these little tats, the Ironman things, and I was like, man, someday I'd love to do that. And they're like, you just did a series, you can go do an Ironman. I'm like, seriously? And he's like, yes. So I went and did an Ironman.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, who would ever thought? I've dreamed about that for like 15 years, doing Ironman. I watch it on TV. It's like, oh man, these people are just so incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm not an athlete. I can't swim or run.
Yeah.
But they convinced me that I could, and I did it.
And you did it.
Because I didn't know any better.
And I think that's part of it. It's like I feel so limited until you're like, oh, I didn't know any better. And now you're an Ironman. It's amazing.
I didn't know normal people could do that.
Right.
Just average people can do that.
And that's everybody around here is like a normal average person. And, in normal average jobs, and we're not athletes, and probably none of us were college athletes, but we're out here doing things that people would never imagine.
No, it's unbelievable. That's why I would not even recognize myself to know that.
Yeah.
And
that's incredible.
These people make you think you're invincible. What's wrong with them?
Exactly.
And people ask me all the time, oh, you must be retired or you must be rich. I'm like, no, most of these people have jobs, like you said. They're working. A lot of them bring their laptops. I see people talking on the phone, and I've been captured on my phone out there. I got real embarrassed one day. I seen the post on Facebook, and I'm talking on my phone. It's like, never again. I'm not welcome my phone no more. Like, something can wait till noon.
Yeah, but you do what you need to do to fit this into your life.
We just continue working. We just do, if we have jobs, and some people save up all year to do the 1 week series.
Right.
And then the next year they'll come do another series.
Yeah.
And this is their vacation.
Right.
And people don't understand that. It's like, well, why can't you go to the beach, or why can't you go here? It's like, we enjoy this.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a gal that was on spring break. She posted a couple of days ago, and that was her spring break last year and this year. Brought the family to do a couple Mainly races.
Yeah.
I love that.
I do too.
You fit it into your lifestyle.
All of us just come together and blend.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, what else do you got for us?
Well,
You're so good at this.
Oh, well, thank you. I had a little experience.
Oh, it's like once Claudine sees this, she'll probably make you redo it. It's like, Mark, you're not allowed to do interviews no more. No,
you're doing great. I'm very comfortable. Yeah, I think I've talked about everything. I'm so new to Mainly compared to everybody else. Brand new, but I jumped
First
in.
time out doing 50 states, that's just brand new.
Brand new, yes,
that's incredible. Nobody does that.
No, but here, but again, and that's the thing, it's don't underestimate yourself, and that's what I learned. It's like, oh wait, I can do this. And it was literally in the middle of center of the nation one day. It was miserably cold, rainy, sideways, lots of time to think, and I'm like, wait, I'm only missing 2 states, like your titanium story. I'm only missing 2 states before I can get 50 in a year. So then I'm calculating in my mind, and so by the end of the race I had figured out, okay, I had to get Texas at the beginning of this series, and I can't remember what other, New Mexico. So I was like, oh wait, but it clicks, and it's like, oh wait, there's a bigger goal, there's a better goal. So yeah, it just, yeah, never just set a goal and stick with that, because it's always changing and always getting better and bigger.
I don't know. That's incredible.